Alright guys, doing a Nurses Making the News on Thursday. I had a tonsillectomy on Monday, so this is my first video back. I'm going to be probably less animated than normal, but, still felt like making the news on Thursday. This week it was announced that nurses from the St. Vincent Hospital in, I'm going to call it Worcester, but I think it's called Worcester, Massachusetts, have been on strike for more than 200 days. Since the beginning of March, they have been on strike due to staff to patient ratios and pay. These nurses feel that they need more pay and less patients per shift, which is, something that everybody should be able to agree upon. However, they've been on strike now for more than 200 days, and a court has now ordered that they no longer receive unemployment checks. And if they have had unemployment checks since August, they're going to have to repay that money back in full. So, I don't understand why nurses go on strike. Unions, in my opinion, are a good thing, but have their place to be. A nursing union, in my opinion, should not exist. A union should be something that creates a workforce development program, sort of out of high school or wherever it may be, to train electricians, plumbers, welders, fabricators, people that are in manufacturing, things like this. Nursing is its own very little special entity. I made a video before calling it a blue-collar job, but if you look it up, Google calls it a pink-collar job. There shouldn't necessarily be a union for nurses that have the ability to go on strike like this, because really the only people that are suffering are the patients, as several hundred nurses from St. Vincent Hospital have been on strike now for over 200 days, which is astonishing to think of, that these several hundred nurses have been out of work or, not going to work for over 200 days now. And these patients have been suffering. We're in the middle of the COVID pandemic, the Delta variant, and these nurses are just leaving these patients, and the hospitals that are already short-staffed are having to pick up the slack with travel nurses and contract nurses and things like this. And this is not looking good upon nursing. Now, I do agree that we do need less patient to nurse ratio. We need, 1 to 4, whatever it may be, 1 to 6. But we don't necessarily need to do it in a way that strikes, in a way that, we're taking it to the man. Because nursing doesn't necessarily work like a manufacturing position or electrical job or plumbing job or whatever it may be. Nursing isn't really that sort of field. It's not really, if all of the forklift operators that work for Ford go on strike and they say, we want more money, we want more pay, well, Ford's not going to build any more cars. If all the nurses go on strike, we want more money, we want more pay, we want more patient to nurse ratio, all of these sick people who are in the hospitals are going to be sick, and it's going to have disastrous results. On one hand, we're going to be out of Ford cars. On the other hand, we're going to be left with very, very sick patients who are not receiving care at all. So I do agree that unions are good in certain aspects. I don't agree with a nursing union. I just think it serves no purpose, has no place, and I wish that these nurses would go back to work, because there's so many patients who are suffering due to this, and there's so many short-staffed facilities that are suffering due to this. So I do, in a way, I do applaud the court for saying no more unemployment, and if you did get unemployment, you need to pay it back. I do applaud that. I kind of see their point, trying to get, really intimidate them to go back to work in a way. I do see that point, and I kind of agree with it, because I just don't agree that there should be a nursing union. I know I'll probably get some hate on that, and somebody's probably going to say nursing unions need to exist. But I just don't think so. I feel that these nursing unions just sort of need to go away. It's okay if maybe there's a lighter nursing union that maybe doesn't go on strike or something like that, because really we are just hurting the patients. And we all took an oath to do no harm first, and simply by going on strike, in my opinion, is doing harm first. And I just don't see the point in it. It is what it is. And I do actually applaud the court for going against the nurses on this one and saying you need to go back to work. I think that was the right call by the court system up there in Massachusetts. Will it pan out? We'll see. Hopefully that these patients are getting taken care of in other ways, and the hospital itself isn't suffering, because we all took an oath to help everybody, not necessarily to do harm to people or not even show up to work. Abandonment is something that comes to mind when I think of this. But if you have any thoughts on this, let me know. If you like this video, check this one out over here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe over there. If you like Nurses Making the News on Thursday, there should be a playlist somewhere down there with maybe 6 or 7 other videos on Nurses Making the News. Like I said, I did have a tonsillectomy on Monday. I will be discussing that when I heal up better. This is my first time back, and I really enjoy making these videos. So thank you much. Hope it helps.